All right, welcome to week 36 of Album Club. You son of a bitch, Swoggles.
I'm doing things.
You son of a bitch. We just talked about this. No, I'm
What?
kidding.
I'm doing
I'm
things.
kidding.
I'm
I'm
like
kidding.
at a place. Okay, I have to
Okay.
go on mute, but can I go first and then leave?
Yes, you can go first and leave.
I like this album.
Wait, whoa. We have not done the intro. Let me intro, please.
Cool.
Welcome to week 36 of Album Club. This week's
Oh yeah,
album
you're
is...
doing recording shit now.
Yeah, mute yourself, please. Thank you.
Fuck you.
I love you, Swoggles. This is Ethan's album, and you know we are gonna let Ethan go first before Swoggles, just because it's his album and that's tradition. Yeah. It is Teen Week by dltzk, and go ahead.
Yeah, so going into this, I picked this album for two reasons. Well, actually, it's really just one reason. I didn't really know any albums that had like black cover art that I was like super stoked about. So I was just going through my like songs, and like a year or so ago, Stuewe recommended 52 Blue Mondays to me. So that was the only song in my like songs that had like a somewhat black album cover. And I really enjoyed that song a lot. It was at the peak of my like hyper pop phase, and I really liked it. But I never listened to the full album, so I figured, hey, like, what the heck? Like, this is the first time that I'm submitting an album that I hadn't listened to before, and I am glad that I didn't listen to it first because I was able to get a nice, fresh perspective going into the week of my thoughts. And am I supposed to say if I like it or not?
Yeah. Hit us with the full review.
First listen through, I did not like it, and then second listen through, I liked it a lot more. It wasn't. I think the first listen through, it wasn't what I was like fully expecting, and I kind of let that influence my feelings about it. But then just on like another listen through, like a few days later, I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm actually really digging a lot of like the electronic music in the background that, I mean, definitely sets the pace for a lot of the songs. And once I started like focusing more on that, I realized that I liked it a lot more. Definitely at times, some of like just the noises I wasn't too stoked about, but that's also just part of a lot of these songs, and I got used to it and I started to accept it. And I don't want to say like I really, really enjoyed it, but like I enjoyed it enough, especially like it's on the rise for me. And my overall score for it is a solid 7 flat.
Solid 7 flat. Thank you, Ethan. Good review. On Justin.
Whoa.
Oh, my bad.
Swoggles is out of place.
My
Swoggles,
bad. On to Swoggles. Swoggles
Yeah,
is
just
with
calm down for
people
a second.
because he doesn't care
It's
about
just-
Album
well,
Club. I
now
forgot.
I'm getting weird looks because I'm acting like a swoggle in front of people. All right, they don't even know what that means.
That's crazy.
All right. Anyways, I'm Swoggles, and I listened to this album a couple times in the past week. It was short, so a lot of time to listen to it. And first listen through, I thought it was pretty good, and then as I kept listening, I liked it more and more. I think it's very, very good. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I plan on adding it to my colossal playlist. This will break me over a lot of songs, and I really enjoyed how like the classic hyperpop is like really fast dumb shit, but this is like it also had some really slow dumb shit as well, and I thought that was very good. Uh, I will be giving this album a 7.4 because I enjoyed it. And should I say my favorite and least favorite because I kind of got to go?
Yeah, go for it.
My favorite was Home Switcher. I liked that track. I thought it was good. It's a little bit more like classic hyperpop, so maybe that's why I just got to warm up to the other stuff. The more classic dltzk kind of stuff, I guess. My least favorite, I don't know. Maybe Cartridge. I don't know. there's not a lot of like really like standout bad songs in my opinion, and that's what makes dltzk's Teen Week a really solid album. All right, bye.
See you, dude.
Bye, Swoggles. Thank you.
I like how Swoggles was like, he started that like it was an AA meeting. He was like, "Hi, I'm Swoggles." Like, we know you're Swoggles, brother. Funny guy. Okay, Justin.
I have very similar sentiments. Funnily enough, recently I just started getting into hyperpop more. Like I've always kind of liked it, but now I'm like actually actively seeking it. So yeah, this kind of fit right in the wheelhouse of me starting to get into hyperpop, and I listened to the album and I was like, oh, it just kind of works with what I'm listening to right now. So then I just started listening to it, and yeah, pretty good. I don't think there's anything too crazy. Now that I'm more into hyperpop, like the first time I heard hyperpop, I was like, oh, everything's so cool and like this is so unique. Now it's like, wait, anyone can kind of do this? So they just like do high pitched noises, a little bit chaotic but rhythmic, and like, yeah, that's just I guess my opinion on hyperpop, not this album. But I think this is just a not a generic, but like a standard hyperpop album. So it fits into those tropes and does them fairly well. And I like the genre right now, so I think I'm gonna give it like a 7.5.
7.5, thank you, Justin. I definitely have some counterpoints that I want to make when I'm up, but I can wait. Reaping, you're up.
All right. I gotta say first, I really enjoyed the album. I'm going through my hyperpop phase right now, and I'm really enjoying it.
Who isn't going through their hyperpop phase right now? Apparently.
I mean, yeah.
Apparently we
But
all
I've been
are.
going like
phase for
really
2 years.
hard.
Simon's been going through that phase since the first iteration of Album Club, way back when.
But I've been going like really hard recently. Like you know me. I've been listening like to Chase Icon and other people like that. So, but anyways, I want to say that like hyperpop in general, it takes a little bit to get used to it in a way, because you have to listen to the songs like again and again sometimes, so you can understand like the sounds and stuff like that. But for this album, Teen Week, I can actually recommend this to anybody because it's like not too crazy of a like hyperpop, because it has like chill songs here and there, and then you have like the more chaotic ones, which are like really good. They're not like putting like sounds like randomly just to put it there. Like everything fits just like how it should be in some of the songs, which I really like. I really enjoyed the album. I will give it like a 7.8.
7.8. Reaping standard deviation continues to be the same. No, but good review. No, I understand. We're all giving it similar scores, and I also will be giving it a similar score. I just think it's really funny that like your standard deviation is just always like 7 to 8. But hey, you just like music, and I respect that.
Yeah.
I've returned.
Yeah.
We missed you, Darin.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you, Reaping. Good review. Okay, on to me. I really like this album, unsurprisingly. I like hyperpop. I thought that like things that it did really well is like how it combined genres. It had like almost some like hip hop instrumentals at times, some heavy drum and bass, some hardcore, happy hardcore, just a really interesting mix of sounds. Obviously hyperpop. I think where this album lacks is vocal performance is sometimes really, really shoddy, especially when it's less edited. It's like, not the best. Just feels really rough around the edges and not in the way that I usually like. I think something that like is really important to point out about this is like Justin was saying it's like really standard hyperpop, which in like I guess it's not like mind-blowing. That's not why I don't think it's like not standard at all. I think it's not standard at all because hyperpop is inherently like a ton of fun, whereas this album is like super, super moody. Like it replaces all the fun.
I would disagree. Hyperpop is not always fun. There are so many like sad boy hyperpop albums. It's like its own.
But like even
part of hyperpop.
like Fishmonger. Yeah, like I'm always like banging my head to hyperpop, whereas I did not find it's like this is the moodiest hyperpop I have ever heard in my life. It's like super low key. Even when like it's the drum and bass is like going nuts, I'm not like banging my head. I'm just kind of like chilling, sitting back in my chair. There was like no headbangers on here, which I found really interesting and is like something that I've not experienced with hyperpop. Like who's somebody like that's a similarly moody hyperpop artist, Simon? Because
I don't know. I don't really listen to that. It just always comes up in my playlist.
I've never experienced that.
I feel like Al could back me up here.
Al, back him up here? Question mark?
I'm not gonna lie, I would back you up if I wasn't listening to hyperpop this entire time, and every time I was feeling very good.
Yeah. And this album
And
doesn't
so
make you
I'm
feel very good.
blanking.
Yeah, it's
But
I've never.
This is still definitely hyperpop though.
No, this is for sure hyperpop. It's just it replaced all the fun that's usually in hyperpop with moody, and I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. It's not inherently a bad thing. I personally prefer like happier, more upbeat hyperpop, just because I don't know. I'm in the mood for happier music right now. I think the lyrics on this project were like really interesting. They definitely like lacked subtlety for sure. Like they were just like really straightforward, but I don't think that was necessarily like a deterrent to the album. I thought it was like it cut deep sometimes. It was very clear what the story and the message was. It was like a coming of age story for a hyperpop artist, which is like that's an interesting time in somebody's life, I'm sure. You know, if I was a hyperpop artist who was 17, I'm sure that's a pretty interesting time, you know? A lot going on. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I liked it. It was consistent. 7.7. And on to Al.
Okay. I was thinking I kind of have been listening to too much hyperpop, I think, for this album to start off on like a really great foot with me, because I've sort of been hyperpopped out, although to be fair, my Spotify so far during this album club has played nothing but hyperpop, and every single song that came on, I was like, oh, this is a banger. So maybe not. But all I'm really trying to say is that I feel like I've listened to too much of this to have anything really sound crazy unique, like production wise. I feel like I've heard everything on this album already. The lyrics I thought were just okay. Like they were fine. There's nothing that I thought was particularly awful or particularly great about it. Um, I think this is probably I don't know. I think I'm gonna give it like a 6.5, which so far is low.
Yeah, but I don't think that's like bad.
Oh, okay. I think the biggest example of what I'm talking about is someone like is it Glaive?
Glaive is depressing.
Yeah,
I don't really know Glaive.
they're pretty popular. That's more like it's a little bit like more angst, but there are some sad ones.
Right, but
I'm
even
not really a
like
fan.
Fishmonger has like some sad tracks on it, and it's like they're still like hyper pop. They're not like moody. They're angsty, not
Glaive
moody.
is definitely moody.
Okay, well I've never experienced that, but I believe you that it exists. This is a totally new sound to me.
I bet you could just like look up sad hyperpop and get a whole playlist of it.
Is it as good as this though? Because it's pretty good.
I think most sad hyperpop's kind of bad.
Yeah, but this is good. You know, in my opinion, at least. I also don't particularly like the vibe of sad hyperpop. I just think that the instrumentals are like super dense and interesting, and there's a lot going on.
I think potential. Just needs the right people to come along.
Al, do you have anything else you want to add?
Not really.
All right, cool. So 6.5. Thank you, Al. On to Cam. I think we're gonna get a very different review now.
All right. So as you may know, I do not like hyperpop. I wanted to try and listen to this to like try to get into it. So I really wanted to like try to listen to the album multiple times to like maybe something would click and I would like it. And what ended up happening is I just started it like 10 times and gave up like 9 times. I was like, damn, I really do not want to listen to this. And even like after the one time that I listened to it, I was like, no, I just don't want to go back to that place. So yeah, I didn't really give it much of a chance. But you know, it was better than I expected it to be. It was like bad as opposed to completely awful. The vocals in it, I think, are like just painful to hear for me. And I don't think I can get over that. So with that, I think I'm giving this a 4.
A 4? I'm surprised. I feel like that's higher than I would have guessed.
Yeah, I mean, like it wasn't extremely grating. I was able to listen to it like while I was working the other day. Is like it was okay, just like in the background when I was like completely not paying attention to. But like if I'm like trying to listen and focus in on the music, I found it to be quite obnoxious.
All right, fair enough. Thank you, Cam.
What you're saying is you pre-ordered your 100 Gex tickets.
I actually bought them all out.
Oh my god, that's why.
Yo, can I get one?
Because I want to make sure no one else can go. Because I don't want anyone to suffer through it.
Wait,
yeah, Cam.
Is 100 Gex Hyperpop?
Yeah, 100 Gex is like the hyperpop.
Okay.
Yeah, Cam, this is definitely not the hyperpop album I would recommend for getting into hyperpop, so that's unfortunate that that's what happened to you. But yeah, Simon, go ahead, man.
I would say this is by far the hardest album I've had to rate. Like I've been thinking about this all week, trying to decide what to give it, because it is just so all over the place. There are 2.5 good songs on here. There are Home Switcher, the second half of Beast Friend, and Woodside Garden, 16 December 2012. But then there's like so many songs that could be kind of good, but I don't know. First of all, lyrics range from god awful to completely forgettable. I hate the lyrics. I'm someone who really likes lyrics. Terrible on this album a lot of the time. I agree with Stuewe about the vocals. Like when it's more raw, it's not good, and even with the edited vocals, it's still just is grating to listen to a lot of the time. But sometimes the production does really cool things, and then sometimes it does very things, which it's not too impressive. But then sometimes it's cool. Like second half of Beast Friend, I love the production on that. Woodside Garden has great production. And then Home Switcher is just like really good song. I do like the vocals in that. I think they go very well with it. This album's just so hard to rate for me. I think I'm going to give it a 4.8, even though it does a lot of good things. There's a lot of things I don't like. I think that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I feel like we had similar like thoughts on the album. You just found the bad things way more grating than I did.
Yeah.
Which is totally fair.
I think if he just like gave it another shot, this album could be good. He just like did it again.
dltzk is dropping another album, I think at the end of this year. I think November of this year.
See, this intrigues me enough. I will definitely give that a listen.
Yeah, there's like a ridiculous amount of potential on this album. And I agree that it's like not quite there, but it definitely could get there. And that'd be hype. Okay, thank you, Simon. On to Darin. King of Hyperpop. Darin, question more. He loves it.
As one might imagine from my comment earlier, I extremely dislike hyperpop. And after the album last week, when it was decided we'd listen to this, I turned this album on in the group chat, and I immediately disliked it. But you know what? I was like, okay, I gotta listen to it. I'll get through it. So I got through it about 10 times today. And overall, I'll give it a 3.
Wow, a 3.
There are some good things. Like, I think the production, like, they're trying to do stuff. It's not the same shit over and over. Definitely sounds like they're like trying to like do different things with their sound. But in particular, the distortion, especially on the first couple songs, kind of detracts from what they're trying to do. Because you can't distort songs where there's just a gajillion different sounds. You have to pick and choose what you distort. You can't blanket distort everything. So what happened is everything sounds distorted. Now all of a sudden, I can't make out any sound. I can't even make out what the dude's saying. And his voice is already auto-tuned out of this world. So it's like, okay, I can't really understand everything. Everything sounds muddy. Not really into this. But again, I do respect them for trying to do something different. As far as like the lyrics, I'll be honest, as everyone else said, extremely straightforward. It's a dude, a kid growing up, he makes hyperpop. He's just talking about his experiences. Can't relate in any way, but at least there's something. I'm really trying to not be mean because I think it sucks. But there's still
I'm really trying to
loving
not
this review.
be mean. No, this
But,
review
like,
is really
it's
funny.
Great.
It's someone who
Like, it's-
passionately hates something, trying really hard to not passionately hate it.
holding it back.
But like, it's just bad. It just sucks. It's a 3. I don't. It's bad. I hate it.
All right. Thank you, Darin. That was a great review. Something I wanted to point out when you mentioned the like blanket distortion, I found that there wasn't like yeah, there's a shit ton of stuff that's like super distorted, but I found it really interesting the way that like he would both like compress and delay, so it was like compressed but airy at the same time. Like I found the editing relating to compression like super interesting.
Now, I didn't get that it sounded airy. It just sounded like it was like so much that it just completely ruined whatever sound was there.
But there were some parts of some songs, like I feel like I noted it in the first song where it's like super compressed but also like kind of reverbed out and like atmospheric. So it was like compressed and atmospheric at the same time, which is something like I haven't really experienced and it's hard to articulate. So like I found that super interesting. That was a sound that was really new to me.
What part was it at?
Hang on, let me look at my notes. I don't know if I specifically noted it anywhere, which is annoying. I think it could have been on 52 Blue Mondays.
Okay, I found. Okay, let me see.
Yeah. And my note is somehow feels really big while also being super compressed.
Yeah, no, that's too much for me. I think the first song did the whole distortion and compression a lot better.
I also think the first song did it really well. The first song is one that I also noted. Like, I thought it was super cool how like the bass hits almost sounded like I was underwater, which was like that was cool. Obviously, that's not as like interesting as like what I'm trying to say, but I thought that was pretty cool. I like that a lot. Okay, let's do favorite tracks. Ethan.
Real quick, if it's not an issue, I kind of want to change my score to an 8.
Ooh, okay.
I just re-listening to it, I realized that the songs that I really enjoy enough to boost that up higher. But
Yeah.
my favorite song, it's tough because like this entire time I've been like going back and forth between Beast Friend and Woodside Gardens, but I'm gonna go with Beast Friend. I just really love basically the whole song.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Justin.
Definitely Home Switcher.
Switcher. Reaping.
Home Switcher, it's a banger.
Yeah. I'm also on the home switcher train. I have a note in here that I think is interesting. It sounds like super moody Porter Robinson doing hyperpop. So I kind of figured Justin would be a big home switcher fan.
Very accurate.
Al?
Woodside Garden 16, December 2012.
Nice. Cam? Very good. Simon?
Cam?
Oh, he's back. He made it.
I had a very difficult time trying to rank what is my favorite and least favorite
so
on this because I think they're all equally bad.
I love when Cam does that. It's happened so frequently, and I'm never prepared for it.
The thing is, I feel like I'm rating these more on like how I felt as the album went on. And by the time I finally got to the last song, after not giving up on the album, I was like, oh cool, I'm like done with it. So 17 is my favorite.
Alright, thank you, Cam.
For me, the second half of Beast Friend is almost good enough to carry it to being the best song because that second half is just so good. But I'm gonna have to go with Woodside Garden 16, December 2012.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, Darin?
I wish there was a none option. I probably have to agree with Cam. The last one was the best because it meant it was over.
Alright, wow. Passionate
That's
hyperpop
nuts. You
haters.
still gave it a 3.
That is nuts.
Yeah, you should
It was
be
better.
dead.
It was better than the Midwest email. I could say that much.
That's insane. You're insane. Okay. Okay, least favorites. Ethan.
I didn't even dislike Cartridge, but it was just like the most, like it was almost like too, like, maybe not
moody,
somber, but just like not hyper, I guess. And that one I kind of just like felt the least amount of like wanting to go back and listen to it again. So probably Cartridge.
All right, Justin.
Probably 17. Wasn't a huge fan of it.
All right, yeah, Reaping.
My least favorite track is Cartridge.
All right, me. It's a tough one. Cartridge is up there for least favorite, but my least favorite is Dysphoria. I thought it was really boring instrumentally relative to the rest of the tracks. Al.
I'm gonna go with 17.
Cam.
So for the same reason as before, and because I listened to this song like 10 times and hated it more each time, what was the first song?
Let Down.
Let Down, and it was. Except I expected it to be bad every time. Stop.
All right.
Exactly meeting your
Thank you, Cam.
expectations.
He gave this a 4 too. That's insane. How is this a 4 if you hate it that
really
much?
changing on
Yeah, what the hell?
Really coming around.
The
I think I
hyperpop
hated
haters
that
are
much.
coming
It was like
around.
tolerably bad.
Yeah, that's not a 4. Tolerably bad is like a 2.5 for me.
Maybe I'll lower it to a 3 then.
Hey, you live your life, man. You rate things how you want to rate things.
They're in the 3 club. That shit sucked.
On to Simon, least favorite track.
The first time I listened
fix it
to
later.
Cartridge, I got to the end and I'm like, why the hell would they put a 6-minute track on this? And then I realized it wasn't even 3 minutes, so I'm gonna go with Cartridge.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. Sorry, I totally misunderstood what you were saying. You thought it was really long. It felt long, even though it was short. Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. And Darin,
52 Blue Mondays is everything that's wrong with hyperpop.
you couldn't be more wrong. That's like the most broke opinion ever.
Yeah, I really try my hardest to respect everyone's choices, but that's
Like that's not
that
respectable.
song was by far the least favorite hyperpop song I've ever
I
listened
also
to.
think that song is bad.
That's crazy. That's just
the
like
song
such a
that
good
got
song.
me into this. Like that's the song that Stuewe recommended to me, and I was
Yeah. It's so fucking dense and like noise. I love noise. It's so much noise. Okay, well, anybody else got anything they want to say about Team Week by dltzk? Very good, very good. So there are only 2 albums left in this rotation, and since Swoggles is being a big bitch and never actually shows up to club, I'm gonna let Reaping decide.
He was here.
He was here for like a minute.
Yeah, but like, he gave his input.
Well, because he's not here now, I'm gonna let Reaping decide if Reaping wants to go next or be the last one in the rotation.
Ooh.
No, it could be next. I don't mind.
Yeah,
Let's
next, Reaping.
go!
Yeah.
Rina Sawayama!
Oh my god.
I was very underwhelmed when I listened to this album, but I think it's got a lot of potential, and I think I might like it on a re-listen.
I got good news for everybody.
Let's go.
I won't spoil it, but my rating is already in.
Ooh.
Wonder what it could
Is it
be.
good or bad?
It's terrible, Reaping. I hate this album.
Oh shit, dude.
I've been lying to you this whole
In the
time.
negatives.
It's been a bait this whole time, Reaping. I've never liked Rina Sawayama.
Damn, dude.
Just kidding. Okay, yeah, so that does it. That does it. We'll see you next week for Rina Sawayama's album, Sawayama.
I've actually